It looks like Optimus Prime took a
Canada.
Canada?
Canada.
Canada. Sakes.
Hi, and big up to my name is Mark V, welcoming you to the first episode of CAF Canada, a media project critiquing the lame white North, a country that, if it's not exactly a failed state, is certainly one getting D's across the board. Now, if you read Air Canada in-flight magazine puff pieces or PR-generated top 10 list on BuzzFeed, you might be thinking, whoa, la la la, what are you talking about, man? Canada's all that in a bag of ketchup chips, where, we're not exactly the land of milk and honey, but we're the land of decent beer and maple syrup. Come on, folks, look around you. The disconnect between reality and perception is so extreme, it's like a Dungeons & Dragons game that's gone horribly wrong, where the effete, corrupt, and incompetent ruling elites of Canada think that they're 43rd level elf wizards or something. Look, they're not wizards, they're not elves, and if they have a level, it's pretty close to zero. According to international metrics, Canada is considered one of the happiest nations on earth. Yet I'm hearing from the media and the government on a daily basis that we're in the midst of a mental health and an opioid crisis. So that seems a bit schizophrenic to me. We claim that we're an individualistic society, and yet the conformity is absolute. We think we're a first world nation, and yet we have indigenous people who don't even have potable drinking water and who are living in third world conditions. And though we're proud of our progressive pluralistic democracy, in our last federal election, our choice was between a blue-eyed Sauron, a trust fund bro, and an angry communist squirrel. Do you remember in the year 2000 when George Bush was elected president of the United States, and up in Canada we all giggled smugly at how dumb they were, that they elected a do-nothing, incompetent, boneheaded, rich kid with a famous daddy? Yeah. I think part of the problem is that Canada is one of the most mysterious nations on Earth. And I don't mean mysterious in a cool way like who built the pyramids, or even in a secretive way like they have in North Korea, although we do have a lot of that here too. I mean it in the sense that if you ask the average Canadian if they're proud, they'll all agree that they are. But if you ask them what they're proud of, they can't tell you anything. They don't even know what we celebrate on Canada Day, and we've been asking around.
Sir, are you Canadian?
Yes, sir.
A proud Canadian?
Oh, yes.
What are you most proud of?
We're Canadian.
Let's talk for a moment about CAF Canadian semiotics and methodology. When we sought to brand our project, we were looking for an easily recognizable logo. And so we thought, this is about Canada, so let's start with the basics. We considered the beaver. The beaver is a hard-working, industrious creature, so obviously that doesn't represent Canada 2017. We immediately started considering alternatives and came up with the pussy, because that would definitely work. We also considered the crab, because if you've ever been crabbing, you know that you don't need to put a lid on your bucket of crabs. If you put a crab in the bucket, and that crab says, screw this, I'm getting out of here, all the other crabs will grab it and pull it back down into the bucket. So that would apply. But we have named our project CAF Canada, so we thought, in keeping with that theme, that we would create a hybrid abomination of a beaver and a vermin. Our mascot, Greg. Now, we do have an agenda, and broadly speaking, our agenda is to thin the herd of sacred moose. I sort of agree with what Lucius Vorenus has to say about Concord.
Concord in her ass!
Now, frankly, I have no problem with Concord. If you agree with me that 2 + 2 is 4, then we're in Concord, and that's something that I'm trying to achieve. So, nothing against Concord here. But I do feel exactly the same way as Lucius Vorenus feels about Concord, about civility. Civility is a cloak that Canadian elites wear to avoid scrutiny and criticism. So, as far as it goes, I got no problem with Concord, but when it comes to civility, she's getting it in the bum.
Boom, ba-dum.
Now, obviously, we CAF Canadians have a lot to be thankful for. We're free to do what we're told. The most aggressive and powerful military in the world belongs to our best buds. Tropical diseases are rare, and the kind of depravity that was once reserved for the aristocratic classes is now available to the average Jane and Joe Canuck. We need a reality check, folks. Denial's not just a river in Manitoba. There's a lot of Canadians that are looking at the flecks of aluminum that have accrued to their colon and think they're looking up at the stars. Or in other words, they have their heads up their asses.
I live this country in my bones every breath I take.
So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe. You guys know the drill.